Pirate Nation on X. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer says Rockstar firing 31 GTA 6 developers over alleged union busting is deeply concerning and pledges that ministers will now investigate. Oh, God, here we go. So instead of actually serving the people, they're going to start focusing their efforts on a group of people that I would argue deserve to be fired based off of the messages that I saw leaked. And we covered this in a previous video here. I said leaked, fired Rockstar Discord messages are out. And just a quick refresher before we go further in this. These were the messages. They don't owe you these Slack channels. They pay you to work at the company. What is this with this entitlement that these people have? I would really like to see the evidence for them being too much of a productive. It doesn't matter if nothing was a hit. If they just woke up and said, yeah, we just don't want you to have those anymore, company policy change. You can't speak out about that and be like, well, you can't do that. Fuck, they can. Of course they can. So these people are saying you should not have fired us because while we were sharing internal stuff on an external Discord, the internal stuff we were sharing was fine, really. It wasn't bad stuff. The employees made the decision. They made the call saying it's not, we decide it's not. Rockstar had a mandate after all their leaks that this is a hard red line you do not cross. They crossed it. I would argue that Rockstar proper did not like these people and we're looking for a reason to get rid of them because they're probably trying to unionize, and Rockstar used this opportunity to get rid of them. Sure. Well, there's nothing. There shouldn't be anything wrong with that. This is the video of Keir Starmer talking about it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The video games company Rockstar in my constituency last month fired 31 employees without providing evidence or union representation. The IWGB alleges union busting. Having met Rockstar, they failed to reassure me they are following employment law, and I share concerns about union busting. Given this government is responsible...
Which, by the way, they keep saying it's union busting. You can't do that. It's union busting. They're ignoring what they were fired for. They keep jumping to the, oh, but you fired them because they were trying to start a union. Okay, but what were they fired for? Was it illegal? Okay, then they can be fired. Next question. This doesn't need an investigation. If that's the case, which I've said from day one. And then the messages came out and I'm like, okay, it's confirmed. What kind of investigation do you need to do now?
For the biggest increase in workers' rights in a generation. Does the Prime Minister agree all companies, regardless of profit size, must follow UK employment law and all workers have the right to join a union?
Well, it's a deeply concerning case. Every worker has the right to join a trade union, and we're determined to strengthen workers' rights and ensure they don't face unfair consequences for being part of a union. Ministers will look into the particular case that he raises and keep him updated.
Blake Stevens.
So Keir Starmer is like, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but we will look into that because that sounds really bad. Grubs on X. What? Did GTA make a tweet about crime stats in the UK? Insider Gaming. Rockstar will be investigated. UK Prime Minister says. This is the article. The Prime Minister of UK intends to have Rockstar Games investigated for alleged union busting. During Wednesday's UK Parliament session, MP Chris Murray asked Prime Minister Keir Starmer about the allegations. Murray said that after the meeting with Rockstar over the firings, the company failed to reassure me they are following employment law, and I share concerns about union busting. He then asked Starmer if he agrees that all companies, regardless of profit size, must follow UK employment law, which here's the thing. I don't see a reason. I'm not, up to snuff with UK employment law, but I'd imagine if a company has a mandate saying you can't do this and it's within the laws of the country that they're in and the people do that, they can be fired for it. I don't understand what the issue is here. Starmer responded, every worker has the right to join a trade union, and we're determined to strengthen workers' rights and ensure they don't face unfair consequences. Which, you know what? from a certain perspective, is fair. I think that's a good thing. The government wants to protect the people. I get it. My concern would be if the UK starts overstepping their bounds here and actually doing something about it to get these people their job back, when in my humble opinion, they sure as shit should not be hired back. In October, it was reported that over 30 employees were fired from Rockstar. Immediately, employees and the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain claimed it was a blatant and ruthless act of union busting. So here's the other thing, by the way. If I was a shitty employee at a company, why would you not just try to start a union? They want to fire you for that? Be like, oh, this is union busting. I was trying to start a union and they fired. That's not a thing. You can't hide behind that. Rockstar, however, denied the claim, saying the employees were fired for gross negligence after finding that they were distributing and discussing confidential information. Not long after that, leaked Discord messages suggest that the information being shared involved discussions of new company policies with other employees, among other messages. What they're leaving out here is that it was a private Discord server with other employees and non-employees, union officials, and people that are not officially part of Rockstar that are now privy to see things. Right there, broken. Can't do it. Insider Gamers reached out multiple times to Rockstar for official comment on claims. As of writing, no responses received. What do you think about Rockstar and potential union busting? I've made it abundantly clear. I don't have any issue whatsoever with these people being fired over this stuff. Was it awful what they wrote and the things they said? No, it really wasn't. In the grand scheme, it was minor to a nothing burger at best. But when you're a company that has been time and time again leaked massive things, data, trailers, information, screenshots, storylines, over and over again, you just have a really bad problem with keeping stuff secret and in-house. You draw a hard line saying, we are going to fix this problem by enforcing this one rule. Do not distribute any internal documentation externally. That was done. Even the people that were fired admit that it was done. All they're saying is, yeah, but what we did share was just the internal stuff that was talking about stuff that didn't have anything to do with the game. So it's fine. That's not your call, bro. Like I've said before, I firmly believe that if these people were really good workers and not starting a union, they probably would have been slapped on the wrist and been like, hey, please don't do stupid shit like that. But because they were starting a union, because they were getting together, unionizing, and what I would imagine, not the best workers at the company as well, trying to get a union to save their job because they can't work and keep it themselves. It gave Rockstar a reason to be like, you know what? No, we're not going to slap you on the wrist. We're just going to let all of you go. We don't need any of you guys. We're literally losing nothing by firing all of you. And with a company like Rockstar, it's not about the money. It's not about the salaries that they're paying out. It's about the long-term consequences of the union and the ramifications of, if that were to come to fruition, how much money that would cost them in the grand scheme of unnecessary payouts. I've said this before too when I talked about this. I'll say it one more time. I've worked in the game industry before. I firmly believe there should not be unions in gaming. And I know all the journal mafia and everyone always go, rah, rah, we need unions and workers' rights protections. Fuck that. Sometimes there's nothing to do. You want to force a company. And by the way, not all these companies are massive companies. A lot of them are smaller companies struggling to get by. You want to force them to pay you to come into work every day, even when there's nothing to do. That's not a world that is a productive environment. Like, sure, they'll try to find stuff for you to do. They'll spin your wheels and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if you're not producing something or adding to what the company is doing, why should they have to pay you to be there? If you don't have an answer for that, you shouldn't be unionized for it. The reason why I feel like unions are very important is if there are situations where people are specialized and needed and they're used and abused at the companies and they're letting them go out there. In gaming, there's a constant ebb and flow of we're working on a game now we're not. There's situations where I could see a case be made for them. I firmly believe in gaming that is not one of them. But we will see. We will see as far as what happens with the situation. But I do find it fascinating that it's now reached Keir Starmer. Rockstar is now the topic of conversation and being investigated by the UK government to see if there's any shenanigans going on with them. So we'll keep an eye on this situation to see if anything comes from it. I do wonder if they're going to just take a completely wrong approach to this just to defend the workers and say, yes, workers' rights. Yes, we need to keep these people employed there, even if they're doing jack shit there. That's my concern. Steel Grill, brah, causing us another delay now. In the UK, women are being raped almost every day, but these clowns want to investigate a video game. Free speech has not been abolished in the UK and will jail anyone who says it has been. Going to bring these back. The Labour government's top 5 donors are all unions, and they're making it law that every employer has to push unionist propaganda. So I'm not surprised they're investigating Rockstar. Wow. Wow. Look at the donators, the unions and the lobbyists for the governments. Holy crap. Oh, that explains a lot. My goodness, these workers won't keep quiet, will they? You breach employment contract, you got fired. That's how it works. But we'll see. We'll see. But for now, I'll leave that there.